Hi and welcome to Preview. My name is Guy Giampapa. Preview.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue Guy.
In his lifetime, Jerome Kern wrote more than 700 songs with the help of lyricist Oscar Hammerstein. His acclaimed 1927 musical Showboat is as fresh and appealing today as it was when it premiered some 90 years ago. Recreating it on the Regal Musical Theater stage has been a labor of love for director and choreographer Rachel Bertone. Former Phantom of the Opera star Ciaran Sheehan is featured as Gaylord Ravenel. His credits include over 1,000 performances as the Phantom of the Opera and 1,000 performances in Les Mis on Broadway. You might remember him as Billy Bigelow in last year's production of Carousel. For that, he received multiple nominations as Best Actor. Sarah Oakes Muirhead is featured as Magnolia. This young lady is making the name for herself. Her recent credits include a stunt at the Huntington Theater, New Ripon, Watertown, along with several other groups in and around Boston. It won't surprise me if she becomes the Ernie Award winner as Best Actress next April. You heard it here first. Tony Award nominee and renowned Broadway actor Michael Bell in his debut at Regal takes on the role of Joe. His baritone bass voice delivers a not-to-be-forgotten version of Old Man River, a song that brought him fame when he sang it in the 1955 Broadway production. Showboat soars with the music, the dancing, and the songs. Showboat also boasts a cast of 26 talented actors, and I congratulate each and every one of them for their sterling performances. Showboat will never be just an old musical. It's as fresh today as it was when it hit the floorboards in New York in 1927. I am so happy today because a very dear friend of mine has come on our show for the umpteenth time. Her name is Zoe Bradford, and she's brought people from Company Theater with her. Welcome to the show, Zoe.
Thank you, Guy. It's always a pleasure to be here. So
well,
much
you
fun.
brought Colin San Giacomo with you.
Yes.
I love that name.
Thank you.
That's an Italian name, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's close to my mother's maiden name, which was San Giorgio. So you're probably a Southern Italian by birth. Okay, well.
And like Italians, he's got that passion for, you know how they love theater.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
you know, that's
definitely.
The root of theater, right?
I can relate with
Greeks
that.
and Italians.
Well, tell me, you're here to talk about Disney, The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Okay, that's your latest production.
Yes, coming right up. We open July 28th, and
Yeah.
we're running through August 20th.
Okay, that's a long run.
Yes, and you can
Yeah,
get
go
your
for it.
tickets by calling the box office or just going online. We're very excited about it. This has been kind of a dream of mine. You know, as a child, I grew up in the Midwest and dreamt of being a marine biologist.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do as a kid. So when
Wow.
the opportunity to do The Little Mermaid came up, obviously I took a very different direction in life, and I'm glad I did. But I love undersea creatures, undersea marine life. All of that is so interesting to me. So when we were designing the show, I really wanted it to have a realism kind of feel to it. So even though it's fanciful, it's also it kind of celebrates a lot of sea creatures, seahorses, angelfish, and of course flounder, who is a grunt.
Okay.
they're blue and yellow fish, and he's doing a fabulous job. But anyway, The Little Mermaid is such a rich piece in a way. It's an Alan Menken score, so it's beautiful. It's has enough challenges to sing it, and the orchestration is just so lush and wonderful. So
Right,
that's
you've
really
got Sam
fun.
Bass doing the music.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Colin, tell me about your role. You're a fish.
Yes.
Flounder.
Yes, I
Okay.
am a fish. I am Ariel's best friend that secretly has a crush on her. So,
Oh.
But then she falls in love with a prince, and so I get a little jealous, and I go through the whole adventure of her
Oh.
trying to find Prince Eric.
And how do you end up?
Not so good. I'm sort of left behind.
Oh.
He's the one, not me.
You don't drown, do you?
No, I don't drown.
Oh, okay. Is this your first role with Company Theater?
Yes, this is my first role.
What have you done before that?
I've done a few shows at the Norwood Theater. I've done Bye Bye Birdie.
Really?
Yes, I was Randolph, Kim's little brother.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, you were in that?
Yeah.
And Mike Hammond directed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a marvelous show.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
that was a lot of fun.
Yes,
Where do you live?
in Norwood.
You're in Norwood. Oh, you live next door to me. I'm in Walpole.
Oh, that's
Okay.
Yeah,
We're old
that's
buddies.
great. Yeah, exactly.
How about that? How did you come across this role?
well. I was in the process of doing Bye Bye Birdie, and then Michael came up to me one day and he's just like, "Are you interested in playing the role of Flounder?" And I'm just like, "Sure." And so they had like an open call for Flounder, and so I went in. There were a lot of boys there, and I was like one of like the later ones. And so I went, I did my stuff, I auditioned, I think it went really well, and then like 10 minutes later they called me back, and then they're just like, "Welcome to the cast of Little Mermaid." And I'm just like, oh wow, that was quick.
It was our second time around. We had a lot of boys audition, but it's a role for an unchanged voice.
Yes.
And it's also it just, he has to have a lot of appeal. As Ariel's sidekick, you've really got to love him as much as you love her, I think. You know, he's the link for the children who are watching the show.
Right.
A lot of people think this is a show just for kids, and it really isn't. It has rich themes in it.
Yes.
There's a lot of important decisions that have to be made about leaving your family behind, a lifestyle change. When you look at what it really means and what it's really about, it's really quite a beautiful story. But for children coming, kids love to see other kids perform. So we purposely didn't put a lot of children in our production. I just, because of my marine interest, I put a couple of children in as smaller sea creatures, like seahorses and a small sea turtle and things like that, which is really, it's going to be really fun for children to come and see other kids performing.
yes, yeah.
But then it's an all-adult cast besides that.
One thing that intrigues me about this production, it takes place underwater, right?
A lot of it,
How do you get the illusion of it being underwater?
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, it's a light. A lot of it is lighting effects.
Yeah.
We have some stunning backdrops. We've Ryan and James, two of our set designers, have spent a lot of time creating Ariel's grotto, which is so rich and wonderful, all filled with the human stuff. And then we've made coral reefs and that type of thing. So over half the show is underwater, but the lighting effects are really important as well. So we definitely invested in some moving lights, and it's a great creative team.
It's truly
creating
magic,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah, Adam is our lighting designer. And so, you know, it's just it's a cool challenge. And talk about how we move underwater.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
We use Heelys. It's sort of like roller skates, but it doesn't. It's only on like the heel of your foot, so it's at the very bottom of your heel, and it's really hard to get used to at first, and so you need to like push off your heel and then you glide, so it gives you that motion of swimming underwater instead of walking.
Wow.
So that's how.
You can't really see the roller skates.
No.
But they're covered.
Right.
Okay.
Everything's covered. Yeah.
And you just sail along. Did
And
you
it's
fall
hard.
at all?
Oh, I fall.
Are you a roller skater?
No, I'm not. But there's also holes in the stage, so sometimes I'm like.
Oh my
tripping over-
goodness.
Yeah, there's some little bumps and things, you know, it's
yeah.
a well-used stage. And the Murr sisters, you know, the adults, they were, a few of them were like, whoa, you know, this is kind of tough. Our eels are on Heelys. Quite a few cast members are on them, and they had to get used to them. So it was that was an extra practice challenge. But Sally, our choreographer, ordered them the day we cast it. She ordered them online for everybody so that they could have them pretty immediately.
Oh, in time, yeah.
Yeah. So we had plenty
I don't
of time
think I
to
could do
rehearse.
that.
No, I know I
Yeah.
couldn't. No.
You need a certain balance.
You do,
to
yes.
Stay. Well, I hope you don't fall when the show goes on.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, you're probably used to it now.
Yeah.
And another interesting thing about the movements is for Sebastian, the crab, who's played by Davron Monroe.
Yeah.
He comes to us through Actors Equity. He's wonderful. It has that great Caribbean, personality he's captured.
Yes.
And but his walk is very much like a crab walk. So he walks sideways quite a bit and very skittery, which I think really adds to the charm of the character.
This is magic.
It is.
Really, truly is.
That's what we're trying to do, is create theater magic. So we do have a special event going on August 5th, which is on a Saturday. We have a royal princess party. Ariel's going to be there. Some of our cast members will be there, including Flounder. And children can come, and they have all kinds of princessy kind of activities to do. They can actually even take a ride on a unicorn. I'm trying not to use the air quotes on that. And the special backstage tour where they get to meet some of the actors. And the admission is either $45 or $75 on what package you get. But all the proceeds are going to our new accessibility fund. If you've been to Company Theater before, you know that our elevator lift, which we put in 1992, is not the greatest. It really has been problematic since we installed it. And we feel we have to give better accessibility. So we are not only getting a new lift, but we are also enclosing it, so that whole area will be indoors for our people who need that. So we're currently trying to raise about $85,000 to accomplish this,
Well,
and the Princess Party is all part of our great fundraising efforts.
Well, currently the elevator is outside.
It is
right?
outdoors,
Yeah.
yes, and we're
So
going to be
you're gonna
enclosing that
enclose
area. Yeah.
Okay. And an awful lot of people use that.
Oh, they
because
do,
You do
yes.
have a lot of stairs going
Yes.
up into the theater.
And that's part of the beauty of our theater is it's a steep staircase up, but then you have this beautiful
Yeah.
look onto the stage. It's
Yeah.
that stadium kind of seating, and no bad seat. However, if you don't want to do a lot of stairs, it's not optimal for some of our elderly
Right,
or people
yeah.
with any kind of situation. So at any rate, we're very excited to get it going, and we're hoping our Princess Party will help launch
Well,
that,
I
all
think- I
tax
think that
deductible.
will. Yeah, and that takes place on August 5th?
Yes, yeah,
That's a Saturday.
Yeah, just 2 to 4 o'clock.
Okay,
So.
yeah. And the
you know.
cast, of course, the cast will be
Yeah,
there.
many of the cast
Yeah,
members will
and
be
you
there,
meet them.
delighting the children, and then other princesses will be there too. All your favorites,
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine and everybody, and they'll all be doing their specialty things, be it storytelling. Belle will be there telling stories and whatever, and of course, Sarah Kelly, who's our Ariel, will be teaching the kids how to sing. So, so it'll be fun.
That sounds like it's going to be an exciting
Yes,
day.
and she's lovely. Sarah has been fantastic. We met her last year and cast her as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde,
Right.
and
Yes, I remember that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she actually won
Broadway World.
World.
Okay, yeah,
She
that's
got the award for Best Actress, and we just love her. But we had a huge competition for that role. That was
Yeah.
a tough one. We had tremendous talent try out, so it's great.
Boy, you guys got a lot going on.
We
It's
do.
wonderful. The
It's a
company
lot-
theater,
it's a lot of fun.
One of my favorites.
Oh, I love
Well,
it.
we have two of the actors. They're going to be on the show in just a moment.
That's
so,
right.
Let's just take a break now.
That sounds
Thanks
wonderful.
so much for being on.
Thanks so
you.
much for
Pleasure.
having us, Guy. Always a
Oh,
pleasure.
It's really a pleasure. Okay, we'll be right back.
These little snails have all kinds of flavors. That's why it's go time. Under the water. Yeah, we in look here. Down in the look here. Under the sea, child. That's what I'm talking about.
Now I'm a little bit confused. I have two of the actors that are appearing in the show. First, I have Melissa Carubia,
That's right.
who's a lovely young lady, and Ron Voris, who's a handsome young man. But the problem is, you're playing a man
Yep.
and you're playing a woman.
Yes.
You gotta
indeed.
tell me about that. Well, let's start
Sure.
with you.
I'm playing Flotsam, one of the eels.
Yeah.
And they get referred to as boys throughout the show. I'm kind of gender fluid as an eel, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun because I get to play with a character voice and be a character outside of myself.
Likewise, I'm playing Ursula the Sea Witch, and it's portrayed in the movie generally as a woman, but it actually was inspired by a drag queen. So it's it's really cool
Yeah.
to be able to bring it back to its roots and be able to present it as such.
Are you a lovable character?
I would say sort of. What I'm trying to do with her is to create this side of her that you can connect with and understand, but you also are very scared of her and you are uncomfortable when she's around and what she's doing, when she's spinning her evil web. But I want to give her another side. I want to give her a dimension that is relatable at least.
Yeah.
So there's actually a song in the show that isn't in the movie that kind of does show a different, more fun side of the character. So I'm trying to lean into that to try to create a more comprehensive build.
Sounds like you've got a lot of work to do.
I've done most of it. The fun part is coming up when we finally get to show it off.
Is this the first time you've done this character?
Absolutely.
Well, what have you done before?
I just did Beast in Beauty and the Beast at Franklin Performing Arts Center.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
that was really fun. And I actually did Little Mermaid last year, and I played the chef at the Stadium Performing Arts Center in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So being able to go from the chef to Ursula is like a really fun switch.
Oh, I can
on
imagine,
the same
yeah.
show.
How about you, Melissa? What have you done before?
So Interestingly for me, I'm usually a music director. I'm usually
That's
behind the
right.
scenes.
Yes, yeah.
I music direct the
By the way,
children's productions.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You just got this position with Company Theater?
Yes, I'm their education director for all of Studio One, which
Wow.
is their educational arm, and I musical direct their kids shows. So usually I'm the one conducting the kids, and we have a few children in our show, so it's really fun to perform with them as well.
You must be wearing a big hat.
Yeah, I have a couple. I have a couple. Yeah.
But tell me about your acting career.
Sure. So I actually had a background as an improviser. It's what I did. I used to work at Improv Boston. I did things there. And I came back to musical theater recently. I was in a production of Chicago at the Company Theater where I played Hunyak.
Oh, yes, I
Hungarian.
saw that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw that. Yeah.
That was
a
my
great production.
That was my first show back in a long time. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be on stage because I'm usually the person that's, with the baton.
So you're doing two different things for Company Theater.
Yeah.
Is there a distraction in there somehow?
I don't think so. It feels very fluid because being on stage informs when I'm with the kids, teaching them. I think there is something to be gained from being a performer where you can go into the classroom and say, I know how to be in your shoes as a performer. I know what you're going through, as opposed to making it purely academic. So I love having the experience of being able to perform with them for that reason.
Well, working with these children, is Colin one of the children that you work with?
Not yet.
Not yet?
A lot of the kids in the show are.
Yeah.
So I know that some of the people who are playing the little fish, they were in a production of The Lion King that we just did this
Yes,
spring, which
yeah,
was a lot of fun. And they take classes at Studio One as well, where we teach them singing and acting and dancing and all the things they need to be on stage.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And they're
yeah.
very talented
And
kids.
adorable.
They are.
What does a child have to do to become involved in that?
In Studio One?
Yeah.
Well, we actually just opened up our online registration. It's on the Company Theater website. They can sign up for classes.
Oh.
We also have a production of Willy Wonka we're doing this fall that kids can audition for. Those will be coming up in September.
But having them in this education process, do you reject any of them? I mean, is there a...
Oh, no, the classes are completely open for sign up.
Okay.
We want to nurture our community of actors and
So
singers.
you encourage them to come in?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We have classes for kids from, we're actually offering for younger kids now, 5 all the way through teenagers and adults. We have adult classes too.
Wow. I mean, this is very unique, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's really a part of what makes the Company Theater a community theater in the grandest scheme
because
of
of
the
the
word.
involvement.
Yeah, because you create this base of people who not only come to see your shows, who you perform with, who you learn with, and who, through the classes, eventually they can end up on stage as well. So we just have this beautiful cycle of keeping people coming to the theater, staying involved in lots of different ways, parents, kids, adults, people coming back to theater after a hiatus.
It must be easy to audition. I mean, not to audition, but for the director to pick people for the different shows, the children, because they have this facility, all these kids.
Yes, we do get a lot of kids through our classes. They'll come and take our classes, and then they audition for our shows. But we get kids from outside of Studio One too.
I know it was last year or the year before when Company Theater did Billy Elliot.
Yes.
And they brought in a young fellow from Connecticut.
Fabulous.
But they had
Jamie,
children. Yeah, they had children from the area in the show.
Absolutely.
And I know for the benefit at Ariel's Princess Party, we were having people sponsor tickets for kids who might not be able to afford to go as well. So if people are interested, they can also help to sponsor a student to go and attend the Princess Party.
And speaking to the community aspect that the theater actually creates, I've worked with a lot of different theaters over the past few years, and this one I immediately felt comfortable in, and I immediately felt part of a larger family. Yeah, it's a very, very comfortable environment.
I can attest to that, having gone to many shows and being backstage and talking to the different actors, and of course to Zoe and Sally and Jordy. I can agree with you on that. Yeah, it's a wonderful place. It really and truly is, and it's a beautiful theater.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I
And the
can
seats
remember
are
when
comfy.
that theater first opened.
Most importantly, the seats are comfy.
That's right, yeah. Well, there are many special effects in this show. I
Absolutely.
think the audience will feel like they're underwater at certain times. Is that correct?
That is correct. Chet, who plays Prince Eric, when he drowns, he does such a good job.
Oh my God,
He looks
did
like
it.
he's drowning.
He did it for
Really
the first
drowning.
time the other day, and he did like this crazy like back
He's on a
arch,
wire,
like he was drowning.
and so
Oh,
it's
really?
bringing him up in the
got
air
him up,
as
yeah.
the lights make it look like he's sinking.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he's
fantastic.
doing all of this backbend stuff, and it's beautiful.
Well, what about the makeup? I understand is fantastic.
There's a lot of really good makeup going on. The Mer sisters all have their own look that they're working on, and like the eels, they have their own techniques that they're doing,
Yeah.
making their translucent scales and things. And I actually have a makeup build that I created for myself that takes me about 3 hours to put on.
It
You're
looks
kidding.
incredible.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
actually didn't know how to do drag makeup before the role, and I wanted to be able to give something that was very high quality, so I invested the time in teaching myself how to do it. And it takes me a very long time, but I've achieved an effect that I'm really proud of, but it's just like layers and layers and shapes that I have to create. I'm really trying to bring in this like cartoonish aspect
Yes,
to it,
yeah.
and to be able to serve that across the fourth wall to the audience. But there's a lot of makeup through the whole show, and it's a lot of really, really amazing stuff.
One of the fun parts for my makeup is I found blacklight sensitive makeup. So all of the villain scenes we're under a blacklight. We're performing under a blacklight. So when that's not on, our makeup is colorful, but when it comes on, it glows in the dark. My tail lights up because I'm an electric eel.
Oh, okay.
So we have these remote controls that when we electrocute the boat in the end, spoiler alert. So there's a ton of effects to make it feel larger than life, to make it feel like a cartoon. And we're actually all coached in having facial expressions and body language and things like that by Sally, our choreographer, to
Yes.
look larger than life.
Oh, Sally's
too.
terrific
Yeah,
at that
she's
stuff.
wonderful.
Yeah.
They're bringing out a lot of the stops. So I was talking to the creative team a while ago, and they talked about, I mean, this is my first company, show. They talked about how they've done a lot of, special effects and tricks for audiences in the past. But this show, Little Mermaid, coming up, they put everything out and more. It's it's just amazing how much that they're actually going to be able to do to bring people in.
Like actually having Ariel's transformation from mermaid to human on stage.
Yeah.
And things
Oh, my
like
goodness.
that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Seeing the show is going to be a real experience,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us
Thank
today.
you.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for
Thank you.
having us, Guy.
Well, it's been a real pleasure. And, they always say to actors, break a leg. But what I say is ham it up.
Oh, we will. We're the villains. So.
I'm sure you will.
There's a lot of ham going on.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Thanks so much for being with us
Thank you.
today.
Thank you for having us.
I wish you the best of luck on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's our show for this time. Hope you'll go down to see The Little Mermaid at the Company Theater in Norwell. My name is Guy Giampapa. Thanks for watching Preview. See you next time. Bye-bye.
You put